Good. Welcome everybody to episode 194. No politics on this show. Somebody asked me what my podcast is about. It's a challenging question, man. It's a question I always have a different response to. It's a question that I never really even thought about when I was making the podcast. This fire's not starting. But politics, I don't think so. Maybe I make fun of things on this show, but I don't know if I wouldn't say my podcast is fundamentally built around politics. Maybe I don't know. I definitely dabble in it. I definitely talk about it a wee bit here and there. I definitely speak on things when things are happening, like the world, like the country's opening back up. Mask mandate aren't necessary anymore. I don't think that's politics, though. What else? Inflation going through the roof, people not going back to work, homelessness going out of control. I guess I talk about things like that, but I kind of just share my opinion about them. It's fascinating. I've never really thought about like political parties, and I've never really thought about like where I land on the political side, the spectrum, as they call it, as people like to call it, the political spectrum. I've never really thought about that, at least in terms of me. I think I grew up very Republican. I grew up very church going, Christian, Catholic, Roman Catholic, and so I kind of grew up in the cult of religion. And the cult of religion it gives you a lot of conservative views about the world. Obviously, one of the biggest ones, like abortion. Like, if you abort a kid, you're a murderer. A lot of gun-toting things, like, guns, don't take my guns ever. A lot of things. And it's kind of interesting. The older and older I get, the more I start kind of leaning towards, like, libertarian. Somebody who I fundamentally believe everybody should have the freedom to make their own choice. I fundamentally believe people should be allowed to do what they want with their own body. I'm pro like a lot of things I think I am super in favor of, which are very not conservative views. But when it comes to money, I think I'm very conservative. Like, I'm not somebody who's for making the rich give out all the money to the poor. I'm not somebody who's going to be an extremely hard backer of high taxes. I'm not somebody who thinks that a $300 stipend on unemployment a year after a pandemic is good. I'm very conservative when it comes to money. I believe in low taxes. I believe in capitalism. I'm very, very capitalistic in that sense. I think the best businesses should win. But I also think there is a point when businesses become too big. Michael Saylor was talking about this, the CEO of MicroStrategy. He said companies that become too big, even in the capitalistic world, where they have an anchor to something, like they control a whole market, they become part of the government. At least they get regulated by the government. Companies like oil companies, they become regulated by the government. Electric companies that run your electric for your area, like BG&E, perfect example. I don't know what BG&E stands for. BG&E stands for Baltimore Gas and Electric. Like, they are regulated by the government. Otherwise, it would be way too strong. So, like, financially, I'm very, very Republican. I'm very conservative. I believe in making money, investing money, saving money. I don't believe in that many handouts. But at the same time, I'm also very liberal in the sense that I do think people should be free to make their choices what they want. I also believe in protecting people, helping people. I believe if you come from a challenge situation, a situation in your life that you didn't have a lot of control over, I don't believe in just bootstrapping your way to the top, because the issue with bootstrapping is you're working off the assumption that everyone's starting from the same position of the race. but some people in this country are not starting from the same position, right? They're starting behind. They're not all tied for first place. They're starting in 200th place. And I think sometimes you need help, unemployment, welfare. I think all these things are very necessary. I think people should be allowed to be whatever they want, whoever they want. LGBTQ, I'm a huge believer in that. I love that. I think that's a beautiful thing. Like, I think people should be allowed to feel the way that they feel. What's another thing? I like ideas like Andrew Yang's UBI, like universal basic income. I don't know how that would work. I don't know the consequences of it, and I don't even know if I agree with it 100%. But I love the idea of it. Like, I love the idea of people being able to get money, just to cover their basic cost. I think maybe that's a quick fix to a deeper issue. I think if we're at the point in our country where we have to give out stipends to every single person, I think you're dealing with a country that has fundamental issues. Why are things so expensive? Why is life so expensive to live? But at the same time, I'm also, I believe you should be able to put anything you want in your body. I really do. I believe in drugs being legalized, 100%, all drugs. I believe in once they should be legalized, I think they should be protected. I think they should be healthy drugs, drugs that are not laced with anything, that are regulated, just like the alcohol industry. Like, the thing is with alcohol is you're not going to get an alcohol that it's such a high content, it's just going to kill you, right? Like, the alcohol, since it is legal, since it is taxed, there is an industry out there. And since there's an industry out there, it's regulated. The regulation, you have healthy, not healthy, but you can at least have somewhat manageable alcohol. And I think with drugs, you can do the same thing. You can make pure drugs, have drugs actually serve medical reasons. I don't think anyone should be not allowed to put something in the body because a group of people once decades ago decided that it was illegal. I think if you smoke marijuana, you shouldn't be classified as a lazy person. If you do lazy things because of it, then that's your choice. When people drink, they're not productive, right? So why do we look at people who smoke pot as being lazy people? And why is that even a bad thing? Like, why is that even a bad thing? It shouldn't be a bad thing. If you want to do nothing, you should be able to do nothing. But there's consequences of doing nothing, and understanding those consequences is on you. And if you don't understand them, then you shouldn't complain. So I guess that's a conservative viewpoint. I don't know. Got myself a little bit of Red Stripe imported lager beer here at 10:30 in the morning. It's good. Actually, it's just an iced coffee with 3 Splenda and a little bit of whole milk. Definitely put way too much milk in it. It tastes like straight up. Milk. Yeah, guys. I don't know what that spiel was about, but oh shit, almost put it on my fire. Welcome to episode 194. I am finally finishing up this book that I've been reading for a while. It's the Dummies series. For Dummies or whatever it's called, something like that. Anyways, it's about real estate investing. The older I get, the more I realize that the secret to freedom is money. And the secret to money is not jobs. The secret to money is having multiple revenues of income, right? And there's 3 major revenues of income. There's the job, where you just trade time for money. There's the stocks, where you trade your money for equity. Equity, you get returns. You trade your money for stock, so ownership of a company or an ETF or whatever, crypto even, wink, wink, and you get paid the ratio of the percentage that you own of the company. You get dividends for being a stock owner. You get returns, right? So you have the job, the salary, that you trade time for money. You have trade time, or you time for money, money for ownership returns. And then you have the final one, which is one that I've always been aware of, but I've always been like semi interested in it. And I'm not like fully interested into it yet. I'm just looking at the surface. I'm just skimming the surface. For a few reasons, because it's capital invasive, right? Intensive. It's capital intensive, so it requires a decent amount of money up front, which I don't have right now. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not rich, right? I'm doing well. I'm not in debt. Like I own good things. I'm finishing up with school. Like my future is bright, but I don't have capital to comfortably start with this final path. So I have the first one. I trade my time for money. It's probably my main source of income right now. And then I am in the market, right? So I trade money for percentage ownership. I get returns on that. Hopefully 9% a year for the rest of my life, which would be nice. And then the final one's real estate. And it's one that like I said, I've always just kind of been in the back of my mind. Every place I work, I'm like, do we own this building? Like 2 jobs ago, I remember asking the owner, he's like, yeah, no, we own this building. And the owner of the building I worked at, the owner of the restaurant, he rented it out next door to a little space attached to us. And it was, it's actually, you know what's, oh my God, it's so funny to think about. I'm going to talk about it. I'm just now realizing this. When I first started there, I was young. I was like 16 years old, 16, 17, maybe even 15, 9 months. Whenever I got my license, I basically got a job the next day. And I remember so I started out as a busser. And one of the jobs as a busser was you had to, at the end of the night, you had to help the servers. And when you helped the servers, what you did, you had to go and get dressings and, feta cheese and, whatever, rolls, butter, sour cream. You had to get all this stuff to refill, to flip. So the next morning, the opening server doesn't have to go looking for a bunch of stuff. Just part of your clothes. If you've been in the food industry, you know how it works. In our building, we made up our restaurant made up probably 90% of the space of this huge building that the restaurant owner owned. And we function. The restaurant operations function 90% of the space. The other 10% was a laundromat, which they paid rent to the owner of the restaurant because he owned the building. And I remember every night when we closed, me and the bussers would have to go outside of our restaurant. So we'd leave the physical building. We would go next door, which was still attached to the building, but there's a huge brick wall that separated our operating the restaurant from our storage area, which all the freezers were, the fridges. And we would leave there, go next door, and then grab what we needed, whatever it was, meats or food, whatever we needed, condiments. And I remember because during like busy times of the night, just crazy rushes. Sorry, I had an egg in my molar. I had to get it out with my tongue. Sorry, that's disgusting. That's actually disgusting me. I apologize. But during like really busy nights, it's crazy. I was there for not too long, like 4 or 5 years, but 5 years probably. And we would have to leave the restaurant, go outside, go walk through the parking lot, dodge the cars, grab what we needed, and bring it back inside the restaurant, and then give it to the cooks if it was like steaks or if it was like ranch, whatever. And at the time, I just thought, well, this is what we did. This is what you do. But as I was thinking about it, it was so expensive. Like this amount of space that we had that was just not used for anything. Like I'm reading from my book, like the cost to keep, and we had two huge industrial size freezers just sitting there, just massive, just pump and to keep freezers cold, like that electric is through the roof, right? And we had two industrial sized freezers and then one huge industrial sized walk-in, but not just like the walk-in that you walk in and you can only go straight and then back out, but the walk-in that you walk in, you can go left and it's like a U. So it was a huge industrial walk-in. and I never thought anything of this. I was young. After reading this book, after I look back at that time, I'm like, oh my God. So once there was new ownership, once the new ownership took over, the first thing they did was they condensed everything, right? They took everything that was over there, and they just brought it into the restaurant. They took out a section of the restaurant that we didn't need. They removed it. They switched everything around. And when oh my God, dude, I've been there for so long, I can barely remember what it what it used to look like. Jesus Christ. This is Adams in Edgewater, in Edgewater off of Mayo Road. And 1 second. And I just remember when they switched it all, I was like, this is crazy. How are they gonna? We're just putting everything in this one area. And after reading the real estate investment book, what they did was they removed everything that was non-profitable. So everything about the restaurant. The thing is, the restaurants, the only thing that makes money is when the server drops the food off at the table, the food is eaten, and it's paid for, right? That's the only way restaurants make money, is through the food, right? So you got to look at a restaurant, everything that you see, everything, even like the ad that you get to go to the restaurant is an expense, everything. And I know this makes sense for all businesses. But it's just crazy. I don't know why. It's just so crazy to me that food, like everything. If you work in a kitchen, you see all the employees, you see all the the dishwasher, all the stoves, all the utensils, the salt and pepper, the money, the ketchup, the everything that is like expensive, right? And the food, the $22 full rack of ribs with fries and coleslaw is the only thing that's producing a revenue for you. And the hardest thing about restaurants, I want to see average profit margin for restaurants. 3 to 5% is the average. So when looking at the industry as a whole, the average restaurant profit margin is around 3 to 5%, but can range between 0 to 15. However, like many things in the restaurant industry, there is no cookie cutter answer to a typical restaurant profit margin. So typically 30% is food costs, 30% is labor, 30% is overhead expenses, and then 10% profit. What is this? So the issue is whenever you're working at a restaurant, stolen food that's eaten from the employees, food that's dropped, food that's sent back, it cuts deep in your cost. And so basically when you're running a restaurant, you want to cut expenses as much as you possibly can, because you're only working off a 3 to 5% margin a year. You do a restaurant that does $1 million revenue, you're only making $100K would be 10. So you're only making between $30,000 to $50,000 profit per year. I mean, just think about that. That's crazy. That is such a low number. So we were at the time, we owned so much. We weren't paying because he owned the building, but we weren't making money, right? Because we were just using space that we didn't need. So the opportunity cost wasn't that we could make more money. It was that we were losing money because we could sell that space. We could have someone rent it out. And we ended up doing that. I remember he came in, and his name is Ryan, and he came in and he condensed everything. And it was crazy because all of us, we were there and we were like, what the heck? This doesn't make sense. Why are we doing this? But it's because what ended up happening is they sold that rental space. They cleaned it all up, got it all out, and then they sold it to a gym. And then the gym went ahead and they paid us rent. So then we were making another stream of revenue. We cut down on our costs because we increased our revenue. So now we have food revenue, catering revenue, which is still revenue. And then we had revenue coming in from the gym. And it's things like that this book is so fascinating in that I never really, it's a third stream of revenue, income that I eventually want to get into. It's that of the real estate industry. And it's a confusing one. There's so many moving parts that go into it. It sounds so simple, a building sold for $1 million or $100,000. You buy for, whatever. This is say $80,000, and then you rent it out for $800 a month. And then after, I don't know, $800 times 30, $800 times 100. 100 divided by 12. Yeah, so after 8 years, you're getting $800 rent. After 8 years, you're making profit. And then the price of the building goes up. Then it appreciates, and then then you could sell the house and, make money, or you can keep the property. But it's an interesting stream of revenue that it was hard to get through. It was not an easy book to get through. I have like 30 pages after I'm done with this. I'm going to go ahead and just read the rest of it. But it was rough, dude. But it's so good. Like, the lessons in it, the things that you can learn are so valuable. There's so much information out there to be read. There's so much knowledge out there to be taken advantage of. And I just think people don't do it, man. People don't do it. And I think the coolest thing about learning is that you become so competent, and you become confident, and you become a master of your words, and in a controller of your thoughts. You can control your thoughts. You know what you're saying. You're calm in situations. You have the ability to conceptualize things. You have the ability to put words together in certain ways that you never would have ever thought you could do before. It's a really, really powerful technique. It's undermined. People don't talk about it enough. And I think when you read books that are complicated, not complicated, but every page you read, you really got to think about it long and hard. I think that's where, like, what I was thinking about this a few months ago, and I was thinking, like, once you graduate college, people just stop learning. Isn't that crazy? From 4 years old, when you start preschool, to 21 or 20, whenever you graduate college, people just stop learning. So they just stop, and then they go 59 years until they die at 80, not learning anything. Maybe learning a few things, but not like they did in high school. Not like critical, hard things that you got to break apart and you got to dissect. Like, people don't do that. And it's so wild to me, because if you look at that and you're like, well, people don't do that. What can I do that other people don't do? Learn. Just learn. Learn anything. Read about, stress-related diseases. Read about Empire of the Sun and Moon and Native Americans. Read about ancient humans. Read about the FBI, racism, systematic racism, carnivore diet. Like, read about why we sleep. Just anything, just so you can continue your path of knowledge, because you don't want to be somebody in this world that's not well-rounded. You want to know a little bit of a lot of things. I think that's powerful, and it seems so simple. Like, okay, what's your best tip to get ahead in this world? Read. Why read? Because most people stop learning at 21. If you read, you will never stop learning. Just think about the exponential growth that you can get from that. I'm talking like you literally can't even put a number on it. You're just going to keep getting better forever. And you're going to surround yourself with people that are also in your situation, where are constantly learning, constantly wanting to be better, constantly challenge you, poking at your theories, poking at your ideas. It seems like such a simple concept, but it's one that doesn't seem to get out there enough. But that's a book I've been reading. It's called Real Estate Investment for Dummies, and I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. It's really good. I'm not planning on starting to invest like now. Maybe down the road I might start investing, but not right now. It's going to be something I do later in life. But when I do start, I want to have a little bit of knowledge on it. I don't just want to go, oh, let's just start investing and then lose all my money, or real estate investing and just lose all my money. But that's that. The crypto, I don't know. I can read you guys what's happening right now. So right now it is 10:49 on Wednesday, and I'm down 6.5% on the day. I'm down 15% on the week, 13% on the month, 5.4% on the past 3 months, and the year I'm only up 8%. So May 19th, May 18th, May 19th, at 10:50, I'm up 8% on my portfolio. May 7th, I was up 42%. I dropped 34%. 34% I dropped. I lost about $4,000. That's off the backs of crypto. There's a lot happening. China went ahead and banned crypto being used in their financial systems. That crushed all cryptos. They got down to let me just see. They got down to crazy numbers. Bitcoin got all the way down to it could just keep on dropping. But on Wednesday at 9 a.m. it got down to $29,000. That's $45,000 it lost. That's crazy. Dogecoin dropped all the way down below 24 cents. It's back up to 35 cents. Ethereum went down crazy too. Ethereum dropped from above 4,000, like $4,200, all the way down to $1,800. And this is the part of the game of crypto, and this is the thing. I mean, a lot of people probably sold. Obviously, they sold. That's why the price just kept on dropping. But you can't. After I lost all that. I mean, I've lost all that money. I'm still above my average for Dogecoin, but like for Bitcoin, I'm down like a couple $1,000s. But it's not over, dude. Crypto. If you know anything about crypto, you know that it's a technology. And if you know anything about technology, technology. It's risky, man. It takes a while for it to be adapted. But once it becomes adapted, it becomes part of life. Same way that I look at it the same way I look at the internet. I look at it the same way I look at the iPhone. It takes a while, but once it hits, dude, it's going to hit hard. And it's not going to go away. I really do not think it's going to go away. I think it's here to stay. And I think if you can buy now, like, I'm an idiot. I don't have cash on me right now. Like, I don't have a lot of cash on me. I have everything invested or saved or tied up when trying to pay off make sure I have enough money comfortably to pay for school, trying to pay off my car, waiting for tax returns and all that. But if you have cash right now, I would go, that's just me. I would go all in on cryptos. Not financial advice. Don't take any advice from me. That's just something that I would do if I had spending capital right now. That's what I would end up doing. Because I do think it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's a long-term investment. Everything's down right now. This is the thing that kind of kills me about crypto. Crypto moves like the market, except just more dramatically. Like on Wednesday, the whole market was down. Everything was down. S&P was down 2%. The Dow was down 2%. The Russell 2K, the NASDAQ, the QQQ, everything was down crazy. Bitcoin was down crazy. The numbers for Bitcoin are always, the days that you do really well in crypto, you're up 20%. The days you do really bad, you're down 40%. Just like in the stock market, the day you do really well in the stocks, you're up 2%. But the days you do really bad, you're down 4%. Like it's always bigger news when shit's crashing than when stuff's going off. Especially in crypto, when it's going off, people look at it like it's a mistake. Like, oh, that shouldn't be happening. Like, crazy. Why is that happening? Like, it's going to crash. And then when it crashes, everyone's like, oh, it's crashing. But then when it goes back up, people like don't even think about it. They don't even talk about it. They just like write it off like, oh, yeah, whatever. It's not real anyways. And all these like crazy, like I was watching Squawk Box, or maybe it's Bloomberg's. They're more retarded over there. They were like, yep, this is the end of it. This is the end of Bitcoin. Like, dude, what are you talking about? It's not the end of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still going to be 100K plus by the end of the year. Like, I believe that wholeheartedly. Call me crazy, but I really do believe that wholeheartedly. It's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. It's here to stay, man. I think if you get into it now, you're going to have great returns. Great returns. Part of me almost wishes they kept on dropping so I could buy more of it. I mean, I don't have cash, but like to pull down my average cost. It's going to go. And when it goes, it's going to go hard. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, those just crypto people are just lucky, and then I'm gonna be here sitting. You're gonna rewatch this episode where I go like, nah, dude, it's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. And then, that's just the way. That's the way the cookie crumbles. You win some and lose some. I think a lot of people are they're gonna let their emotions get the best of them, and they're gonna refuse to buy because they don't like breaking tradition. If you invested in horses right before the cars came out, and then you lost a lot of money. Just saying. I don't think I really have anything else more to cover. Just a lot of sad things going on in the world, man. Like it's a lot of sad. Joe Rogan getting crushed about his comment on straight white men. People are going in on him. Yo, he's so popular now. People hate him so much. I love it. People hate Elon. I love Elon. I love Joe. Like, those guys are people are obsessed with them, and that's hilarious to me. And people who are obsessed with them don't even listen to them. That's what's even funnier. Like, they don't listen to him. They just pick apart his podcast for content. They make money off of him. Idiots. But that's it, guys. That's all I really want to talk about today. I'll catch you guys on episode 195 of the Micro Lab Show. Peace out. See ya. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out. See ya.